249 is behind us. Gaethje upsets Tony. I know you know that weight class well. That's your weight class. Were you surprised?
I was extremely surprised. I got to tell you, I put my foot in my mouth. I really thought Tony was, I didn't want to say walk through him, because no one walks through Justin Gaethje. I just had it in my mind that I thought that Tony just would have done more. He didn't utilize the push kick at all, which is I thought was going to be his bread and butter, because he utilized it pretty well against me. And I had a lot of pains after that fight with him from the push kick, just from blocking it. And I really felt, if you look at some of past Justin's fights, the push kick is kind of like the remedy for some of the guys that were kicking him there. He kind of hunches over at the waist. He drops his elbows a lot. I thought that would have opened up to the snap down, to the front headlock, to the guillotines, to the darces, all those things. You start doing body work on Justin Gaethje like we had seen with Poirier and with Eddie Alvarez, he starts hunching over at the waist. So if he would have started using that push kick and was able to get Justin to start hunching over at the waist, that would have opened up that front headlock and those snap downs and those guillotines and those darces. When he got away from that and he started getting into those boxing exchanges, that's when the length and the reach went away and he lost the positions and he just started losing the combinations. The speed was a factor. Justin was faster than Tony. And when he fought inside that box in that phone booth, he lost the advantage that he had, was the length and the range.
So let me ask about your teammate, Khabib. I mean, all signs are pointing to Khabib versus Justin next. Are you hearing anything different? Because I bring that up because the dialogue prior to this, it was going to be Conor Khabib next, which I never really understood. If we're doing an interim championship, it seems like the interim champion would go on and fight. Now it looks like that's on course. Am I wrong?
Look, there's a lot of different reasons why we're getting a bunch of different stories. Is because right now Ali has two of the guys that are fading. Ali, I can't pronounce his last name.
Abdelaziz.
There you go. So he's the manager of Justin Gaethje and Khabib. And so when you have those two guys now fighting the interim in the main event, but look, as Ali is, what I think, like even Justin came out and said, the best, I would rather fight Conor because I'll make more money. He's like, and then I believe that he believes he can beat Conor. But either way, he's going to make more money and he doesn't have to go through the, there's going to be some drama involved. The media is going to play the drama between Ali being the manager, between Khabib and him. It ends up putting puts a little stake in the middle there, and kind of could cause some problems in management, could cause some problems between team. They're not teammates, but being managed by the same guy. So there's a lot of things that I can see why Justin, while he's looking at that and saying, you know what, I would rather probably fight Conor, and if I beat Conor, then I have no choice. I have nowhere else to go but fight Khabib. But why fight him knowing that I can make more money fighting Conor and let Khabib do his thing, whatever he needs to do until September? I could fight Conor. He could probably fight Conor in July. In early July. Might as well do that. You might as well have that fight, make a ton of money, and then if you win, cool, you go and fight him. If you don't, well, at least you didn't ruin a friendship over anything, with Ali and with Khabib and the management it does cause a rift. We've seen this before in the past with Rashad and John Jones. We've seen it, I remember when I was at AKA and I was supposed to be fighting, I was in that next echelon after I beat Nate Diaz. Gray Maynard was right there as well. He was ranked one spot ahead of me. And then he was supposed to fight Nate Diaz. Or he was going to fight someone else. I can't remember. And he lost. And then I fought Nate and I beat him. So it put us all in the mix. Khabib was coming up. So we had the three of us. And the media was already talking about, well, what happens if this person fights? And it starts putting doubts in people's minds. I think Justin's making the right call here. Is if he was smart, he would fight Conor. Get that fight in there. If you beat him, you have no choice but to fight Khabib. But at least you got a huge payday in the process. And you're going to get another huge payday to fight Khabib. That's two big paydays. If you lose, you made more of a payday than fighting Khabib. I would say it's probably going to be about equal. I think everyone believes that Khabib now is a big, big draw. He's huge. Maybe not quite as big, but it's close. It's getting close, I think, somewhere in that close. But I think for Justin, he should fight Conor. And then turn around, if he wins, and turn around and fight Khabib.
But Josh, I think that's my bigger question. Do you think that will even be offered to him? It's not a matter of Justin just trying to figure out where the numbers are at. He has to fight who's offered to him. Do you think Conor's name is going to get brought to the table prior to the September date, as you mentioned, that Khabib is alleged to return?
Look, if I was Ali, I'd be shaping it to try and get to that position. There's no reason. Ali's got a pretty good relationship with Dana White. And if I was Ali, I'd be talking to him like, hey, let's get Conor in this mix. Because either way, Ali wins both ways. If Justin wins, then he ends up fighting Khabib and Justin. If Conor wins, well, then he gets the Khabib and Conor rematch, which makes him money as well. So he's made money on both ways. As a manager, he's got to look at what's best for both of his clients. What's best for both of his clients? Well, one, the best fight for him is for Justin to fight Conor. He gets paid on that. And then that's also the best thing for Justin as well, because it doesn't cause any problems between Khabib and Justin. If Justin does win, which I think he's got a great chance, if he has any type of performance like he did against Tony, he's gonna have a great opportunity and a great chance to make a ton of money and end up fighting Khabib anyways. So now you turn around and you take that win and you run it right back to Khabib, and you end up with a huge monster fight between Justin and Khabib, giving Justin more of the notoriety than he's already gotten now. Okay, after beating Tony the way he beat Tony, it's huge. If he beats Conor and he looks good doing it, or even if he just beats him, but if he beats him and looks good doing it, man, you put him against Khabib, that thing does huge numbers right after he beats Conor.
I fully agree with you on that. Now let's go back to the actual fight of Justin and Khabib. And Tony. I believe that Justin didn't just surprise all of us, Josh. I think Justin surprised himself. I think that he, in his own mind, overperformed. I don't know how confident he was going into that fight. And I think I understand that. If you don't have a full training camp and you get put in a 25-minute situation with a guy who's known for his cardio, that's a very daunting task. I tell people all the time, Josh, but if we're going to have confidence as a fighter, it doesn't come down to experience or speed or power. It comes down to, we ask ourselves, if the end of the night comes, can I still be here more than he's here? That's where the confidence is. If this is long and drawn out and gets to the final minutes of the final round that it's scheduled for, can I still protect myself more than I believe he can protect himself? If the answer to that is yes, then you have confidence. Do you agree?
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I think also as the fight went on and Justin started realizing that Tony was fighting him in that phone booth and got rid of his length and his range, and he didn't need to worry about jumping in on big punches and taking the opportunity of getting taken down. I think the concern was if Tony was to get on top and was able, or even to fight from his back, was if Tony was able to get him down at all, there was a threat there. And we've seen it in all of his past fights. The submission threat is very high with Tony, but you got to get him down. Tony is not, I wouldn't say he's not the best wrestler. He just doesn't choose to utilize it as much. And it just didn't seem like he had a game plan to change as the fight went on. There was never someone in his corner saying, hey, this isn't working after round 3. Let's change this up. We got to start pressing him to the fence, get into that dirty boxing, elbows and knees. We've got to start working on that. No one in the corner changed the game plan, and they didn't make the adjustments as the fight went on. And Justin, and you got to understand, as the fight goes on and it's working, you don't need to change anything. And you see your opponent's not changing anything. You're like, this is perfect. Justin's confident, had every right to grow because nothing was changing. Everything he was doing was working. Didn't matter what it was working. And there was no reason for him to change anything. And his confidence was through the roof.